Hey guys, Dr. Rebecca Warren here with Dr. Nathan Warren from Doctors Warren, as you know, following us here on Facebook. But we wanted to jump on tonight. We're actually going to flip the topics. Yesterday, Dr. Nathan talked about, what a 5-day to 3-day water fast looks like. And if you guys are wondering, I got distracted because I was like, he's actually drinking something that he's going to talk about today.
Yeah.
You're drinking bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're going to talk about, because a lot of people had questions about this, about what to do leading up to your water fast and what to do after your water fast. Because the thing that we tell people over and over again, and it's really important to understand and know, is that the refeeding period after a water fast is just as important as the fast itself.
Yeah.
And I was going to say something too, and then you can jump into this.
Yeah.
One thing that always blew my mind is that you have a coaching client, I don't know if she'll be on, but who had done a fast, and then you got her on a supplement, and she started getting rid of gut stuff like parasites and all these different things after her fast, because you guided her on how to get off of it correctly. So it is important.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you don't think the refeeding part is so important, I don't know if you guys know this, but most people do. But one of the most tragic things after World War II, when they went into the concentration camps and they were freeing some of the people in those concentration camps, was the refeeding syndrome that happened. Thousands of people died because they were in starvation mode, right? And then giving food. And so again, refeeding is so vitally important, right? The way that you refeed. Now from the standpoint of what I just talked about, again, you're not going to have to worry about refeeding syndrome. But my whole purpose with that is to show you that, again, the way that you do it and how you do it is so vitally important to the health of the overall body. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about going into a fast. I don't recommend having a crazy weekend or a wild weekend or eating like crap and then saying on Monday I'm going to fast. I would rather
unless you got
wait.
Amazing willpower,
which I have done.
So,
I did that.
You did do that
after Moon River. I
Yeah.
felt great, but that wasn't my first fast. I had done it multiple times. I had been intermittent fasting. I'd been working on detox and supporting my liver. So the best thing to do before you go into a fast, and I had this conversation with a coaching client a couple weeks ago. She was like, "Oh, we were getting ready to fast." I was like, "No, do a fasting mimicking diet or intermittent fast. Like push your intermittent fasting. Do something like a warrior fast for a week. Kind of get yourself reset." Do something like that, but start kind of weaning yourself off of sugar.
Yeah.
Start weaning yourself off of using carbs for fuel. So start increasing your fat, start restricting your carbs, start intermittent fasting, and start training your metabolism. So good quality fats. We have a lot of resources of that here on our Facebook page and our past videos, and on doctorswarren.com. There's some blogs of past radio shows where we've talked about how to increase fat. So going into that, start preparing your body. Now, once you do a 3-day to 5-day water fast, when you come off of it, again, and you even remind me of this too, because when I come off a fast, I'm like 0 to 100. I want to do the 5-day water fast, and then when I come off of it, I want to eat, but you always guide me to slow down. So what do you recommend?
Yeah, so like I always recommend what I've got right here, and that's, bone broth, right? Like breaking it with some bone broth is phenomenal, mainly because you're going to get just amazing amino acids. You're going to get some collagen. You're going to get some things like some great good fat, and everything like that. Lots of good minerals as well. Some vitamins in there too. So you're kind of getting this broad spectrum. It's like drinking a multivitamin. But even more so than that, it's healing to the gut, right? So if you just did a 5-day water fast, actually the lining of your gut just turned over twice. So that means you have literally revamped the lining of the gut twice during a 5-day water fast, probably about once during a 3-day water fast. And so what you want to do then is, when you have some great bone broth, again, it really helps to just kind of vamp up just this strong, gut lining. And again, especially if you've had any type of, autoimmune issues, chronic disease, but overall, it really does a lot for the gut. You get a great chance, right? You get a great chance to kind of reset the digestive system and the gut to make it work for you. And so a couple hacks that I like to use when I'm doing my bone broth after a fast, I like to take a little bit of avocado, and I mean, again, a little bit. You do not need a half an avocado or even a whole one, but like maybe a little sliver of avocado, maybe a touch of like MCT or olive oil, and I'll actually blend that in my bone broth with some good minerals like good real salt or Celtic sea salt. I'll blend that in there, and again, that's how I break my fast. Usually I do that for about a day or two, right? So one thing that we always recommend, if you do that 3-day water fast, just go ahead and follow that up with 2 days of bone broth fasting, right? So it's kind of like a partial fast, right? You're still getting some really great calories. You're going to be feeling full. I promise you're going to be feeling really full. But at the same time, you're going to be starting to rebuild the body, rebuild the gut, and do a great job with that. So that's always my biggest recommendation is breaking the fast with bone broth. And again, if you are more plant-based, an immune mushroom broth would be a great one for you to break it with too.
Absolutely. And then also know that sometimes people, especially if you have a sluggish gallbladder, sometimes if you jump off of your fast and you're consuming too much fat, you'll have diarrhea. And so just take that as kind of like a warning sign to slow down and to back down. And so some things that I do coming off of the fast too is making sure that you're eating warm food. Yum. So breaking the broth, you can do it with warm veggies. Make sure that you're cooking the veggies, that they're kind of broken down, that they're warm.
Put them in broth.
You put them in broth. Do not steamed
Instapot.
Steamed veggies, Instapot veggies. What you don't want to do is within those first couple of hours, maybe even the first 24 hours, you don't want to eat cold food. You want to eat warm, nourishing foods, and it has a lot to do with how our body is looking for food. Another thing that's going to be really beneficial that when you do a 3 to 5 day water fast is that when you're fasting, you're suppressing good and bad bacteria. Not in the way that antibiotics wipes it out. It just is kind of like brings them both down. So really cool hack to do is when you start introducing foods again, introducing foods that are probiotic-rich. Like use that opportunity when this bad bacteria is suppressed to go in there and flush a lot of really good bacteria to kind of really help that. So probiotic-rich food, stuff like sauerkraut and kimchi. I wouldn't do kombucha because that's sugar. That's still going to have sugar in it. But like kefir and maybe some yogurts that are unsweetened. Again, kind of don't make sure that you're grabbing it straight out of the fridge and you're consuming it, but making sure that you're reintroducing warm foods. And what you can do is you can do a little bit at a time. So 2 hours, eat something there, drink bone broth, and then 2 hours later you can add a little bit more to it. And then 2 hours later you can add more, eat some more veggies. And when would you introduce the protein, the meat?
I usually wait to introduce the meat till at least like maybe the end of the second day after your fast. So not the first day, not even the first morning, but maybe like at the end of the second day or going into the third day after the fast. Hey
Pat, are you going to be fasting with us? We're going to post when the next fast is. Pat, I remember when you did the other fast with us and you did it and you couldn't believe that you did it. And then, hey, Stacy, thank you for tuning in. So what's really important is to take your time. Remember that your stomach has shrunk. Don't push yourself to eating a lot of food. You don't want to undo that. And you want to focus on going keto, paleo keto, that week, the next couple weeks after your fast, because
take advantage of it.
Take advantage of those amazing healing autophagy properties. And now autophagy boosting foods would be really beneficial as well after a fast.
Yeah, especially when you jump back into fasting, right? But, again, I think you can still continue the same principles of even a little bit of intermittent fasting afterwards. But for the most part, you're into rebuilding the body at least for, a couple weeks to really get that back up. So again, utilize those, appropriately, right? We got to rebuild the body just like when we're breaking it down with autophagy too. That's the key. No doubt. And I was going to say too, tomorrow night, I want to go over things like about certain supplements, how to pair them during the fast, how to pair them after the fast, how to get the most out of those things. And then also too, I would like to go over, just some of the most common questions.
So just a quick recap, break it with bone broth. You can make your own grass-fed bones. You can use it in the Instapot and the slow cooker, or we really like buying, that's what he's drinking right here, Kettle and Fire. Again, warm veggies, warm meals. You want to stay away from grains, but you want to also incorporate some probiotic-rich foods. Is there anything else? I do really well, and I listen to my body when I come off a fast, and so I do really well with just like warm or room temperature, like goat cheese or like sheep's cheese, like little pieces of it. I do very, very well with that.
No raw veggies.
No raw veggies. Just do a
Hard
lot
on
of
the digestive system.
Start off with plant-based, then introduce the next day some protein into that. You can do some shakes if you want as well. But again, don't put a lot of
Don't overload.
Yeah, don't overload. Just go slow and then work your way up and reintroducing those foods.
And again, guys, we love doing this, so give us some feedback on it, comments, questions, anything you guys want to know. Hope you guys have a great night.